Hey everyone, it's Motor City Nick here. Today we're looking at the Microtech M-Stitch. If you're not familiar with the Microtech Stitch, this is just a smaller version of it with an overall length of 7 inches, cutting edge of 2.5, and an overall blade length of just over 3 inches. Next to some other popular knives, we have the Kaiser Drop Bear, very similar in size. A little bit bigger, but same weight class. We have the Demco 8020.5, and a similar story with the Vosteed Raccoon. So those are some popular knives for some size comparisons for you guys. Here is the overall weight on this. Let's get this zeroed. 3.5. Alright, so what are my impressions of this knife? I love the stitch. I love the stitch design. I think that this is just a killer looking knife. Some people have complained about the action. I think the action is fine. But there's a big problem with this knife that we're going to get into in just a sec here. But if we're just looking at the fit and finish of this knife, overall, I mean, this is pretty much what we expect from Microtech. We don't have crazy billboarding on the blade, just a nice Microtech logo, Borka Blades logo up there, and then we have blade steel, made in the USA, and all the good stuff on the pocket clip. The choil and the finger groove are slightly different from the original stitch. They just gave you a little bit more room here on the choil to get up there, and then this is slightly reprofiled compared to the original stitch. Now, if we start taking a closer look at the M-Stitch, this is where I start having issues with it. So when you go to close this, let's say you want to do it one-handed, it's tough. And I'll show you here in a sec why it's tough. But I don't know if you guys can hear this. Not so much on that one. Hear that little pop when I released it, almost like it was really caught up on the spine there pretty hard. Well, that's part of it, at least that's what I thought. But taking a closer look, once you see where the Ram-Lok is actually interacting with the sides of the liner here. Now, if you can see that wiggle back and forth, that right there is just enough of a tolerance issue to cause that little hang up when I go to close it. Here's a full-size MSI. See how that issue is not really present here? So this was better fitted to this this channel back here than on the mini stitch. And I think that is actually what's causing this to hang up so bad, because if you look, I can almost get this to go diagonal. You see there where it's looking like it's not parallel. So if we press and get everything parallel, now with one finger, if I press, I can move it back. If I don't do that and I try to press like that, it is very hard to do that one with one finger. That's why when I go to close this knife, if I flicked it out versus using the Ram-Lok to open it, like if I use the Ram-Lok, I'm not going to get the same amount of stick on that lock as if I flick it out. Now I'm going to get that stick. You're going to hear that pop when I hear that. For whatever reason, flick out is just enough of a force to get things jammed up back there. This, I think, is coming a little bit further forward, that's creating the initial jam up. And then we have the liner channel, we'll call it, right there, where there's a tolerance issue with just how this is spaced. So it's kind of surprising out of a Microtech knife. This knife actually costs less than the M-Stitch, this model of the MSI. But we don't have that same tolerance issue here. I mean, this Ram-Lok is good to go. It's super smooth. I can do it one-handed, you know, where I'm just using my thumb on it, and no issue with this one. For whatever reason, this one just, it needs the two hands. And then that brings me to some of these marks you'll see on my hand. Before I realized that this had that issue and whatever, it was so hard to disengage. I went to do the regular one-handed disengage. I was like, oh, geez, I can't. I got to get two fingers on there. So I went to get the two fingers on there to release it. And because of how close the tip of this blade is to the bottom of the knife compared to something like the Demco, see how you have a good amount of space there, where if I were to dig that part into my palm, I still got plenty of clearance as the blade comes down. I'm not going to eat my hand up. That is not the case here. Like, this is so freaking close, and I have a little bit meatier hands that if I have it back here, I mean, we are within that blade path. So that is something you got to keep in mind if you have one of these and you're getting that lock stick on there. Careful where you're closing it. I found that, like, kind of the middle of my hand, I got larger hands, XL size, in a Harbor Freight glove. So if we're looking at my hands overall, you know, from palm to middle finger, I'm about 9 inches. Just to give you guys an idea. So if you have a similar size hand, just be mindful how you close this. I would put it in the middle here. That way you got plenty of room to operate it. You can use the two fingers to release that. Does it kill this knife that you have to do that? No, but that to me is just a tolerance issue. I mean, this could be fixed with either them just increasing the size of this ever so slightly so you don't get that back and forth play there, like how this one is. I mean, that's not a huge difference. That's, you know, that is just ever slightly too small in there. And that is creating just enough of a angle when you are going to use the Ram-Lok that you got to use two hands to keep it consistent pressure versus, you know, pressing it to one side or the other. Because if you do that, I feel like it's, you know, just the added friction of it against the steel liner here is enough to create that issue. So I think Microtech has to figure that out. They gotta, you know, resize this ever so slightly or whatever. If it's not sized improperly, I don't know. My MSI doesn't do this. So I know I'm not the only person that's made comments on the action, we'll call it, of the M-Stitch. Mine seems pretty smooth for the most part, but I get that lock stick like crazy on this one, especially with the flick. Like every time you're just gonna hear that release, where again with the MSI, this is a much bigger knife and it's just not the case. So if you have the M-Stitch and you're wondering what the heck is going on with your lock, that's what's going on. They need to resize that. So I don't know. I think that's a bit of a bummer, considering this usually goes for $275. I mean, here's a $20 trade that I can release with one hand, right? Why that's the case is on a crossbar lock, you just have that groove. You don't have the added wear surfaces against the liners. So I feel like this is just an easier lock to maybe get right, just because the cylindrical piece in a channel, so you have rounded edges and things like that. Where on this one, you can see they tried to angle it, so maybe that's supposed to help with that, but it doesn't. It actually creates, I think, wiggle, and that's why this is unpleasant to unlock once you get a lock. So if you guys found this at all helpful and you want to blow up Microtech and say, hey, fix this issue, get this Ram-Lok properly toleranced, please like, comment, and subscribe. Trying to grow the channel here and get some feedback from you guys. If there's anything you want to see changed, trying to figure this out as I go. So please feel free to comment down below with any changes or any video ideas, things like that that you want to see. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.